croissant. Just look at it. That's tender and flaky and buttery. It's just absolutely delicious in every way. And Esther McManus is going to make them for us, and she's a real French baker, and her name is Esther because she's French. Okay,
Thank you.
How do we begin?
Well, we begin by having the right ingredients, which is butter, flour, milk, yeast, salt, and sugar. So we put the flour in, 3 cups and 3/4.
That's just about a pound.
That's 1 pound and 2 ounces exactly.
Pound and 2 ounces.
We add the yeast, and then we put 2 leveled teaspoons of salt and 1/3 cup of sugar. Then you put right away 1 whole cup of milk, and you leave the other half so that in case you need it, you will use it. Then you start on a low speed until the ingredients are kind of mixed. So I can see that it is a little dry. It's good to constantly check your dough so that you don't get it too wet, because it's easier to make a dough lighter than to then thicken it. You always know that the dough is starting to be right when it has picked up most of the flour from the bottom of the bowl. So because I find that the mixer is struggling a little bit, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to make it easier for the mixer to work. So I'll put it on, put it back, and then put little pieces like this. It helps the mixer
That's interesting.
work a little better. And this way, it will have a chance to gather it into a ball and make it work. And I will let it work just a little bit longer until I feel that the dough is unified. So you take it, you pound it a little bit, knead it a little bit, and you wait until
Feel it
it
now.
feels, see, it feels nice. You make it smooth. So what we're going to do is just wrap it in a piece of plastic like this, and again make it smooth. And because it's going to grow, you will put it in a plastic bag so that the air does not penetrate it. I'm going to leave it in room temperature for about half an hour. So it will stay right here next to me until I feel that it's ready to go to the refrigerator. Now I'm going to change to the paddle because it's going to beat my butter without making it oily.
Chilled unsalted butter.
Unsalted, best quality butter. And we're going to use 1 pound and about 2 ounces like this. Now why do I cut it? It's because the paddle will have an easier time going at it. So we'll go like this. I will put into it 2 tablespoons of flour.
What does the flour do?
Okay, the flour is important in here because it will absorb some of the water in the butter. And you want as little water in this butter. That little bit of flour will take care of it. Now I'm going to put it on high speed. Lower it a little. Lower. And I believe that's it. I stop now because I don't want it to get oily. So now I take this mass of butter, I put it here.
It's still chilled.
It is, that's because I cut it in pieces before I put it. I tap it nice to get all the air out. This butter is going to be going into the dough to create the flaky croissant that you so enjoyed. And both these two things are going together to the refrigerator. They're going to be very happy to spend the night together in the refrigerator to be of the same temperature and of the same consistency.
Fine.
this is the dough that has rested for 30 minutes, but then it lived in the refrigerator with the butter overnight or a minimum of 8 hours.
So it's chilled now. Both are chilled. And it has begun to rise, hasn't it?
Right. So
It looks lovely. It looks so much smoother.
yeah. Now smell how delicious it smells. It's fermented. It's delicious smelling already.
Lovely. So you can eat it raw.
You could eat it raw. So now we have to work with a little bit of flour because you don't want it to attach itself to the marble. Then I brought this pin here, and it has a lot of weight, so you want this nice, wonderful weight. You always do it this way and that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, you always are, in a way, kind but authority.
Yes.
You don't be scared. You are not scared of the dough.
You know what you're
the
doing.
dough should be scared of you, you know. So you bring it to 17 inches and 10 inches wide. You open your butter, and the butter has also lived
Beautiful.
for 8 hours. It's beautiful.
It's quite hard, though, isn't
It is. It should be.
Yeah.
Because you lift this dough like this, and you sort of stretch it a little bit, and you make it sit here. It doesn't want to, but you're going to be the boss.
Here.
And you do the same thing, and you turn it like this, and you hold a little bit this end here, and you take this pin, and you start beating from the middle. Distribute the butter. Kindly but firmly. You see how the butter is moving? It is almost filling its half. I turn it like this, and I do the same thing for the other half.
That's a very clever way of doing it.
And now you understand why the butter has to be solid.
Yes.
Because if it was not solid, it would have gone where it wanted to go. So then I'm going to go a little bit this way, and again in my head I am seeing the butter walking toward the end. I do this for the other half, pivot it, and I do the same thing in here. Okay? Now, I would say that I am not going to go any further than this because I feel that it doesn't want me to. So I'm going to put it in a sheet tray, please, cookie sheet.
There you are.
I put a very small amount of flour, and I'll rest it for 2 hours
In the fridge?
in the refrigerator. That's it.
Fine.
Voila.
Now this is the dough that's rested 2 hours.
That's right. Now we're going to flour the board again and go like this. Put it down, flour the top. At this point,
Very lightly.
don't work.
It's already rising, isn't
Right,
it? Yeah.
right. And don't try to flour the rolling pin. It doesn't do any good.
Oh, it doesn't.
Always go both directions,
And try to keep it as even as
as
possible.
even as possible. Again, I'm going both ways.
That's about 24 inches long and about 14 inches wide.
And this is what I have now. Always make sure it doesn't stick.
Oh, that's
Because when it sticks, it tears. When it tears, you're in trouble. Okay? So now we fold it, and I have a nice little pastry brush here. I usually take the flour out, and
It isn't actually even down there, but
It
it doesn't
doesn't
make any
have to
difference.
be.
Doesn't have
it
to be.
really does not have to be even. Because look what I'm going to do now. I'm going to give it just a little request. I'm going to tell it, come on, please, get together nicely. But I'm not going to force it to do anything because it does not like to be forced. Don't go down on it.
Is that toughens it, doesn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You
It
like
has to feel easy.
That's it. And if it doesn't work, it means it's not ready. Put it back in the refrigerator and don't worry about it. Now it is measuring 15 by 9, roughly. See how I lift it like I'm lifting a baby? Like this. I put it down because I don't want to stretch it. And that is when I mark what I did, because I may forget.
Yeah.
I put 1 turn. And then I know that it is going to be
fine.
there. And I'm not
How many
worried.
more does it have now?
It's going to have 1 more single and 1 double. And each time it rests about an hour in between. Sometimes it rests a little longer.
Well, this is turn number 2, Esther.
That's right. So now,
Rested for 1 hour.
yes, and nice and chilled, as you can
It
feel.
is indeed.
Okay, we're going to give it a double turn.
A double turn.
It's very similar to what we have done. See, when it cracks like this,
Yeah.
don't worry about it, because it's normal. The action of the yeast has